Hello, Business 630 students. This is Professor Hassey. It's our third and final video of this week, number 6, as we conclude it. And today's date is Sunday, May 14th, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in our class, mothers of students, and any other mothers out there. And I wish you all the best to this Mother's Day, and I'm sorry I have to bother you with this dopey video. But be that as it may, I wanted to introduce case number 3, our final case of this course worth 20% of your grade, where you're going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation. Don't have to give the presentation, just give me the PowerPoint file, where you'll be doing a financial statement analysis of your firm you selected way back in week number 1. If you go to Blackboard, as you can see it in front of you, and go to case study, the case number 3 is now posted there, and a couple things you should note. I've given you, for some of you who are not aficionados of PowerPoint, here's some 10 PowerPoint tips, a little video that might be able to be of some use to some of you, but I'm not looking for some fancy PowerPoints, just basic business presentation, and I have a sample of a PowerPoint, a very basic sample. Naturally, I hope you doctor yours up a little bit and put a little color in it and that sort of thing, but I do have a sample, and I'll show you that sample in just a minute. So there's 2 files, both a PDF and a Word doc file, either or, but and then there's a rubric, and I'll be showing you that in a minute. At the same time, there's a sample format for the PowerPoint, and that financial statement analysis PDF that we discussed in week 6 that gives you the basic financial analytical equations and terminology that I would like you to use in this case. So let's take a look at case number 3, due Sunday, May 21st, a PowerPoint formatted case. Okay, like all our cases in this financial management or corporate finance class, it's all asked for you to put together data, interpret data, and explain it. Tell me what you think, what you see in regards to the data being supplied. So let's take a look at this. This is, please take the company that you originally chosen in case number one, and perform a financial analysis using the available data for the most recent quarter, March 31st, 2023, and compare that to a year ago, March 31st, 2022. If any of you, we're into the month of May, so all March 31st financials should be posted. But if you are having trouble finding that data, please let me know during the course of the week. Your analysis should include at least one analytical equation from each of the 4 sections of financial analysis: profitability, asset management, liquidity, and debt management. And here is those financial statement areas. Let me make this bigger here. Profitability, asset management, liquidity, and debt management. So you are to select one equation from profitability, one equation from asset management, one equation, probably be current ratio, from liquidity, and one equation from debt management. So you're going to put 4 analyses of these various areas. And here it is. This is provided in your case, as we also talked about it in our week 6 lectures. So that's what you need to do to perform or to do this analysis. You take one equation from each of the 4. So that means you're giving 4 analyses. Once you do that, your analysis should include the following interpretations of that data. Has the firm improved its performance from the previous year? Is the firm managed efficiently? And as a potential investor, would you consider this a stock you would purchase? So you use these 4 analyses. Especially, you should answer the first 2 questions for each of the 4 analysis. And the third question should be answered after you review all of them. And would you consider this a stock you would purchase? Then it goes on to page 2 of the case. excuse me, there's a typo there. It says case number 3 is a financial statement analysis of the company selected beginning of our fall 2 session. That should be the spring 2 session. So I'll fix that after our video today. The student will identify which ratios, one ratio analysis per section in each ratio class will be selected for the analysis, as I just mentioned. Each ratio class must be presented as part of the case. Ratio analysis should show 2 quarter periods, March 31st, 23, and 22. Trend in order to adequately develop performance patterns. The financial statements to be the source of the ratio calculation should be the 10K filings of the company. You'll see also this financial information if you go to D&B Hoover's database. There's a Freudian slip. D&B Hoover's database, and you can also go to the financial information in the company's investor relations. But I do not want you to use Google or Yahoo Finance to get this data. I want direct information that's posted by the companies, the information in Google Finance and Yahoo Finance that we've used in the past, and that's okay. But in this case, I do not want you to use third-party data. You're going to get the original data provided by the companies. So that's why 10K filings, you can go to D&B Hoover's database from the Wilson Library, what we've talked about in this class, that has direct reports, or you can go to the company website. Now, you do not need to show me the financial statements of all this stuff. The analysis is on 10 slides, as you'll see in our sample. So you don't have room and time to put all the financials up. I trust how you're getting the data. I want you to show me the calculations, how you did them, and then your analysis. So you do not need to give me the financial statements. I have all the financial statements already. I know you've already selected these companies, so I've prepared and I got all the data for these time periods. So it's up to you to do the analysis. The use of charts, graphs, tables are strongly encouraged to present the data for analysis. Finally, within each class, a conclusion on the overall financial performance will be presented. In other words, answer the first 2 questions of page 1 in each of the 4 classes. Okay. Within the overall context of the ratio analysis, there must be a logical integration of the significant accounts identified in the financial statement review to the selected ratio. In other words, it's painting you a picture of these 4 analyticals about the efficiency and how the company is doing. I want you to explain that. In the overall presentation, the key concept to remember is that you should focus on the why, or how come, or what caused, and not what was. So just don't throw the data at me and then don't say anything. That's what the 2 questions are there for. Why, how come, what caused, what is the trends over the last year, March 31st, 23, March 31st, 22, do you see? The student will then present an overall conclusion based solely on the overall financial performance presented. So you're just going to base your overall conclusion about whether you would buy, sell, or what to do with this stock based on the 4 analytical areas that you develop, nothing else. So that's what I want in this PowerPoint. Okay, that's what I want. Here is the rubric of how I'll be grading it. Basically a third, a third, a third, a third based on how you get your data, a third on your analysis and interpretation, and a third on your format, your presentation. Just don't throw a bunch of numbers on a slide and then expect to get a very good grade for your format and presentation ability. Got to, spend a little time, make this a little jazzy. Okay, this rubric is also located in your Blackboard. Okay, here's the 10-slide sample that I provided in the case number 3 file folder in Blackboard. It's very basic, but it gives you the general idea of what I'm going through. All right, an introductory slide, an agenda, what you're trying to do in this case or present. This case happens to be on United Healthcare back in 2021 and 20 in December 31st. You're doing March 31st, 23, and 22. You're going to find 4 sections: liquidity, asset management, debt management, and profitability. Here's the liquidity ratios. They selected current ratio. Notice the analysis. Notice the interpretation. The asset management ratio. Here they use the asset turnover ratio. Notice the analysis. Notice the interpretation. The debt management. Here they used debt to assets. Notice they give the industry average, which is a good measure. They give you the 2 years we're looking at and the interpretation. Profitability ratio. Here they use the return on assets. Again, the industry average for this business, United Healthcare, the 2 years of analysis, and then the interpretation. See how this works? No financial statements are needed. Then the interpretation review slide. Has the firm improved from the previous year? Is the firm managed efficiently? As a potential investor, would you consider this stock? Then finally, a nice little analysis, interpretation of a little bit of a presentation, a little jazz, and then the reference section. So 10 slides is the minimum. You can do more than 10 slides, but this is a sample of basically what I'm be looking for. Naturally, I want to see a little bit more of your individual personality in this presentation, but don't throw a bunch of data and fill up a slide and thinking you're going to get an A from that. I'm looking for interpretation. I'm looking for professional. I'm looking for easy to read. I'm looking for your personality and interpretation of these 4 areas of financial statement analysis, and tell me something about this company. And they're the references section. So that's the sample file for this case. Okay, so again, pretty straightforward. You have a week to do this. Again, extensions are available after Sunday the 21st. But again, remember, during this whole time, you're also putting together spreadsheets and putting together the data for the electrics case, which, as you know by now, hopefully, it's quite elaborate, quite extensive, and it's going to take some time. So you got to save yourself some time for that. So again, you have another week after this week to do the electrics case, but at the same time, you need to be prepared for and doing some work on that at the same time. Notice in our week 8, there's no additional reading or work to do. We're finishing all our financial statement interpretation. We're finishing all our alternatives to capital strategies discussion this week, number 7, in my lecture video, which will be posted on Tuesday of the coming week, May 23rd. Excuse me, May 16th. So there's no additional lectures after this week 7. No additional work in case studies. You have these 2 case studies now to work on over the next 2 weeks. All right. So again, I've given you the case information in these 2 files. I've given you the rubric of showing you how I'll be grading it. And this will be helpful to a lot of you. I'm giving you a sample PowerPoint of how I'm looking at the format, and then those key financial statement areas you have to select one from those 4 areas to do your analysis. Again, the source of your data for these financial statements should be either the 10K filed for March 31st. Sometimes in some industries, it's called the 10Q for the quarterly report, or the D&B Hoover's database in the Wilson Library, where all this data is located, or the actual investor relations. I do not want to see, again, in your references, Google Finance or Yahoo Finance. I do not want to see those, or you'll get points taken away. Again, I stand ready all week if you have questions. I will not accept any drafts in advance about me looking over your work. There's no drafts given to Professor Hasse for this case. What I see is what I get from you. Do not send me any sample projections or sample PowerPoints that I can say yay or nay on. That is not going to happen in this case. You are on your own. Okay, that's why I've given you somewhat of a decent sample to go by. Again, also this week, because of my schedule this week, there is no Tuesday office hours from 6 to 8 p.m. this Tuesday, May 16th. I will not have office hours that evening. I'll have student hours on the Thursday evening. But again, if you need to talk to me, send me an email, send me a text, whatever, and I can get back to you right away. But at the same time, I will not be on the Zoom session this Tuesday night. I apologize for that. But next week, in our final week, I will have Tuesday and Thursday student hours. And also remember, this coming Saturday at 1 p.m., I'm having a Zoom review session exclusively and somewhat for the electrics case, but also if I will answer questions on the case number 3 PowerPoint. I will not review drafts or anything, but if you have specific questions about your work, I will answer those questions in our review session this coming Saturday as well. So look for my week 7 lecture video on alternative capital strategies this Tuesday. I will have student hours on Thursday. I will have another video posted on Friday, our weekend update video, and then we'll have our Zoom session on Saturday afternoon. We're winding things down here with a lot of cool work, a lot of interesting work. And I'm looking forward to seeing your interpretations and your analysis and your study on these 2 cases. So have a great week, everybody. I'll see you again on Tuesday. I hope I didn't spoil too much of your Mother's Day. Have a great rest of the weekend and a great rest of Mother's Day, and be safe. And we'll see you soon. Until then, adios.